Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you for supporting me and watching my channel. Thank you to all the people that have sent me DMs on Twitter saying that, my words are helping you in some way. Baby, my words are helping you or inspiring you. That makes me really happy when I hear that, so thank you, and thank you for watching this video if you are. So I want to start every kind of episode with a little life update. Everything is pretty much the same except that on Saturday, we actually awarded our first 2 scholarships, and I'm really excited because the story behind that is I created a nice Florida scholarship, and it was meant to be one $500 scholarship to a student in Colombia, but what ended up happening, we got 14 applications, and 2 of the kids, they just touched my heart, and I just couldn't pick between one or the other, so I told my family, I came together with them, and we all pitched in money to create a second scholarship. So both kids got a $500 scholarship towards their tuition for 2019, and I am so happy. And 3 months ago, it was just kind of an idea that came to me that I wanted to honor my grandmother in a certain way, and 3 months later, here I am, like, watching my project come alive, and I just couldn't be any happier or excited. Like, I can't believe that this is happening, and my family is just amazing, and I'm just so happy. So that happened. I also just kind of wanted to give you guys a book update. I'm a big believer in reading. I think everyone should read. I think a lot of the inspiration, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of things I get do come from either books I'm reading or school or just other stuff. So if you don't like to read, try your best to make this a habit because it's a really good habit to have. But anyway, so the book I'm reading right now is called Secrets of Six-Figure Women. This is a great book for women to, if you're kind of not stuck, but like you want to see how other women are advancing in their career. It talks a lot about, how to get what you want, how to ask for that promotion, how to get to where you want to be. So I think it's a very empowering book. I really recommend it if you're if you're someone who wants to make 6-figure, if you're a woman, like, this is a great book. So I really recommend it. And so I go to school and I work full-time, and I know how hard that is. So today I wanted to interview my cousin, who is an amazing woman, and she inspires me every day. And she is, she was working full-time, she was going to school full-time, and she had 2 daughters and a husband. So I always say, like, I don't know how parents do it, because I feel like it's hard enough for me to manage both things and trying to have a social life. So I don't know how you do it with kids and wife and just all kinds of stuff. So just shout out to you, anyone that's going through that situation, or if that you think that going back to school and your family situation and stuff is holding you back. I think this is a great episode for you. So we're gonna take a look at the interview that happened. Thank you guys so much for watching, and here it is. So today I have my amazing cousin here. This is Tatiana. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Tatiana, and I'm 36 years old. I'm a full-time mom. Full-time mom, of course, yeah, but I work full-time. I have 2 girls. They're 12 and 15. And I just graduated from San Francisco State University. Well, not just, in May I did, from International Relations. And yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell my life.
Yes, and she is an amazing, inspiring woman that I have around. And I know how hard it is to go to school and work full-time. So I don't know how people that have kids do it, how people that are single parents do it, how people that are even married. Because for me, I think it's difficult even to work full-time and go to school full-time. So I wanted to just kind of ask her a few questions, see how it's done. So tell me a little bit about how you even went back to school, because you're a little bit older, so you obviously didn't go right after high school.
Yeah.
You had your daughters.
So that's a really good question. I'm gonna say that the kids were probably 4 and 6, and then I started thinking about how I was working to try to make life and the economy work for my family, and then I was doing all these things for them. I was doing a lot of things at home and for my husband, but then I just started thinking, what am I doing for me? What am I doing for myself?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be selfish to just think of me, but I also wanted to do something little by little that like I was doing just for me, and not at the end just for me, because I know that it will benefit my family.
Yeah.
So I started just going to college and taking just 2 classes a semester.
Because you started off at Las Positas.
Las Positas,
So you
yes.
started in community college.
Livermore, yeah.
For 2 years, or how long was it?
No, because I only took 2 classes per semester. Then I think it went for a good 4 years when it should have been 2 years. So I took
Okay.
twice.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to take that much time away from the kids. So
Yeah, which makes sense. Was it a hard decision to say, I'm going back to school?
I think it was kind of like a smooth one, in the sense of being absent from the house. But mentally, I think I contemplated it, and I didn't do it right away. I had to like wrap my mind about
Yeah,
it.
because I'm sure it's a big decision, and managing
Mm-hmm.
school, work, your daughters, and school is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, you're exhausted from work, you're exhausted from your kids, and then it's like, well, I have to do homework, or I have to take this quiz, or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's a big commitment to school.
Yeah. Well, I think that at first when I decided to, like I said, okay, I'm gonna start. Like I need to start, because that like first step is like what keeps people back. Like from even just starting.
The first step is probably the hardest thing. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just gonna start, and then I try not to put pressure on myself as to like, okay, I'm gonna finish a career. I just said I'll just go to a class and see how it works, and then just see if it works even for my family, if it works time wise. So I took a class that was online, and then the other one was presential. So it's like you only go like maybe once or twice a week. It wasn't that hard, like, and I wasn't that much away from the girls at the beginning.
Okay, but after a while, do you think that it was very time consuming to go back to school?
Yes, I think you need to set your mind to that goal of having your career, because if you don't have that, then anything is going to come in between that. And the reason why I say that is because you have to organize your time. You have to...
Yeah, you do have to be... Your time management has to be very precise.
Yes.
And even now for me, like, I'm like, I have to schedule when I do homework. I have to schedule when I go out. I have to schedule this. And it's like, you're dealing with not just your schedule, but like your daughter's schedule and your husband's schedule. So dealing with all of that, how did you even handle that?
It was
It sounds like so much work.
it was a lot of work. I think that during the time that I was doing it, because the first and the most important thing is to be determined.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and whatever it takes, I'll make it happen. So then after that, it was like I said, organization and time and sacrifice, like you say. So yeah, a friend is gonna invite you to a get together. Maybe you're not gonna be able to go, because maybe you can have 2 hours during that evening, but you're gonna have a couple of glasses of wine, and you need to be sharp the next day to write like this huge essay or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to sacrifice a lot. Sleep. Of course, I had the girls, so I would go to work, and then I would either go to school or come home, deal with the girls, help them do homework, dinner, everything, and then put them to bed, and then do my homework. So sometimes I would get like towards the end of my career, I think I would get like an hour or 2 hours sleep. Not like often, but it was
sometimes.
yeah.
So it's kind of just being so determined that you just take the steps that you need to take. So I know that, I mean, I went to school right after high school, so, you do see like some older people or whatever. Like, was age ever a factor that maybe held you back, or maybe you were like, I'm too old or something? Like, did you ever think about your age when going to school?
I never thought of that, and maybe it makes a difference that when I was actually going to school, I was going to school in the afternoon classes. So usually in the afternoon classes are people that are not just teenagers and they graduated.
Yeah.
And they're
most people work and they're going to
Exactly.
school at night. Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think there was like a lot of mix on age. There was like, the teenagers that had to work, I don't know, and like their regular jobs. there was also like people even older than me. I'm 36, and
Yeah.
there were people that were
No,
older.
I've seen a lot of like older people, but I feel like I hear that a lot. Like, I'm too old to go back to school, or people might think that like, oh no, like that's not for me. I'm too old, or they might think that their age is gonna make them feel weird or something. But I mean, you're saying it didn't.
No, I mean, as long as your head's all there, like you still
Yeah.
remember things and you can still like.
But not in that sense of just not like you're old physically, but like mentally. Like, did you feel old to be in school, or feel weird around younger people, or whatever, like that sort of thing?
I think that yeah, I
little
did
bit.
feel a little bit off place, I would say, because I'm not in that circle of like their maturity is different than mine. Sometimes like I used to be paired with groups and I hated it because it's like you don't know if you're gonna have to do the work or
Yeah.
people are actually gonna get involved. And then some kids were just like so irresponsible. So in that
Yeah.
sense, it's like maybe if I was their age or they were my age, then we would have more things in common and similarities than me just trying to be like a mom to them and be like
Yeah, and also, for groups and stuff like that, like, you always have to coordinate your schedule. And, like, I know even for me, I experienced that people that just go to school have a lot more free time. So they're like, oh, let's do it at 10 a.m. on Monday. And you're like, I have a job. So for you, I'm sure it's hard to, like, I have this little bit of window of time that I can give you guys.
Yeah.
And sometimes it bothers other people, like, because they have all the time or whatever. And you're like, well, I can only do this day. And you just have to.
I would be like, okay, I can't make it, like, but I'll probably just, join through, like, I don't know, like, a video call or something. I mean,
Yeah, which is
things
what
like
I
that.
do too. Like, sometimes I can't make it to campus for a group meeting, so I just call in and just say, you know what, I'm listening, because you do have to be present, and you don't want to be that person that just doesn't do anything for your team. So, and that's just gonna happen. Like, you are just gonna have team stuff. So what were some of your biggest obstacles that you would say?
I think that I would say like my biggest obstacle was, well, the sacrifice part of the things that you had to say no and
To
learn
give
how to
up.
say no. Because then if you say yes, and I did it like in the beginning, I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go. But then I was there in the place, I wasn't even like having fun, I was stressing. It's like, oh my God, I have this to do. Like, when is this gonna end? It's like, so you're not even having fun. So
Yeah.
you kind of learn a little bit, and then you're like, okay, no, I can't go, I'm sorry, like this is what I have going on. For sure, next time tell me with anticipation so I can actually plan out, do more homework during other days to try to catch up, like all those things. But I think that the hardest thing was balancing. Like, that's like my
Balancing
personal
your time or your energy,
Balancing-
just everything.
balancing everything that's in your plate, like, because you have to balance work and you have to fulfill everything that you need to do, your duties at work. You need to balance time with your kids, you need to balance being a mom, so it's like it's like spending time with them and doing activities with them aside from being a mom and feeding them and doing homework and all that.
Like, they have their stuff too that you have to participate in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Of course, my husband, like going out or doing things together for our relationship, and then the school with
Yeah.
all the like we were just talking about like all the articles we had to read, and
So
it's
much
like
reading, so much writing papers, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. It takes time, and sometimes that's what I mean. Like, I have such a hard time finding the time. I don't know how moms do it. So props to you and all the
Thank
moms
you.
out there, dads or single parents, that you guys are rock stars. 'Cause I don't know how you do it. So what is something that you would say to someone who's maybe in the situation where they have a full-time job, they have kids, they're married, whatever, and they're thinking about going back to school?
What I would say is two things that like actually like help me. Determination, and I know maybe a lot of people can say that, but it's like once you put it in your head and with conviction, and then you're certain that that's what you're gonna do, then whatever comes along, if you need to cancel a semester, which happened in my life, then you will, and then you're just gonna graduate one semester later.
And don't focus so much on the time, because I feel like people are like, I need to do it in 4 years, or I need to do it, but like
Oh,
you
no.
said, things happen, and
Yeah. And then another thing is, so when we discussed when I started, I went to Las Positas in Livermore, which was like half an hour away from where I live. And then when I I was going to transfer to San Francisco State University, which is where I graduated from. But that was like an hour and maybe an hour and 20 minutes away. And I used to even work farther. So it would be like an hour and 40 minutes away or something like that. So then I started focusing on how it wasn't going to work. Like how it wasn't, like my bosses are not going to give me the time off that I need in order to make it to class at 4. Or how am I going to drive, or how is this going to work with the girls? So I started focusing on all the obstacles as to why it wasn't going to work. But then, I don't know, like something like snapped in my head, and I'm like, well, why don't I flip this? Why don't I just say how is going to happen?
How will I make this work? How can I do this so that it happens? Yeah. Because if you focus on all the obstacles... then you're just going to be like, no, I can't do this. No. But once you start focusing on, like, the opportunities, like, this is what I'm going to do to get it done, you're going to get it done. Yeah.
And I think that's what I did. I was focusing on the obstacles, and I was telling myself, like, it's okay, Tatiana, that you couldn't reach this goal because look at all this that's in between and you're not going to be able to make it. But then I was like, no, like, I don't know, like, maybe, like, a moment of, I don't know, like aha moment or whatever happened, and then I was like, okay, well, let me flip this, and then I'm like, okay, I'll do it, like I'll go for it and try. Like I didn't put so much pressure as to like, okay, this is gonna happen, because I know how my mind works, but it's like, okay, let's just try and see, and then go from there.
And I mean, I know because we all experienced it, but our grandmother passed away, and I know that was something that you almost left school because of it, and it was so hard. So like, what made you say, no, I'm gonna follow this through and do it, even though I know, and I remember it was so hard for you, and you were like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
I didn't. It's one of like the biggest heartbreaks that I've actually had to go through in my life, and my nana helped me. She lived with me. She used to feed my kids when I wasn't home. She used to take care of them. She used to put them to bed when I was in school, the days that I would have to go to school. So I did have that help. And when she actually passed away, it was actually the semester that I canceled. I did try going back to school, but I could not stop crying in class. And then I'm like, I can't even bring myself to class. Like, I'm not gonna be able to read or, concentrate. So I just canceled my semester. And then I kind of like just...
And that's what you needed. You needed to cancel that semester. And sometimes you need to just kind of take a break.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself, self-care, kind of recover your strength.
Yeah.
To be able to go back.
Yeah. I think that after that, I just didn't want to go. Like, I don't want to finish school.
You were like, I don't want to do this. Like, no. I'm over it.
No, because it's like, the time that I was in school, I could have spent it with Nana, or the time that I was in a book, stuck reading or writing an essay, I could have been with my kids and Nana. Yeah. And then now she's not here. So I kind of like, it was like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the reason why I decided to go back is because I was like so close to being done. I think it was just a couple semesters that I needed to finish. And then I said, like, I thought is like, well, she helped me and she put all this effort and all this energy and all this work for me to be able to actually go to school and accomplish this. How am I not gonna finish it? Even if it's just for her, and even if I have to force myself and I don't want to do it anymore, I have to. Like,
yeah. And would you say it was worth it?
Yeah, I feel like I accomplished a goal. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's like it was a hard, bloody, lengthy goal.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just feels like so, like, fulfilling, it's amazing, yeah.
And it's also, like, I would think it's, like, an example for your daughters, and kind of, you're showing them that there's other ways and other things to do. And I mean, I think even for all of us, like, I was like, I don't know how she does it. Like, how do you live 2 hours away from school? How do you find time to that drive. I mean, anyone could have quit. I feel like you said, like, you could have focused on all the bad aspects and been like, I'm not doing this, but you stuck it through, and that's amazing.
Thank you.
It's so amazing. So what are some tips that you wished you would have known, or someone would have told you, like, to just make everything a little bit easier, the whole managing and balancing?
Okay, well, some tips are definitely, like, you need to organize your time. Like, even the day, be like, okay,
So what did you do it, like, on a planner? Was it more like your phone? Like, did you have, like, this 2 hours are set for this?
I didn't start doing that until, like, after I had started school, and then everything was just, like, overwhelming. But then, yeah, I would, like, make even a spreadsheet, like, of the week. It's like, okay, Monday, I work from this to this, and then I can use even my lunch hour to read or do this homework or whatever. And then, this time is commuting, and this time is for the kids and meals and then their homework, and then, bedtime for them, and then my school time or study time. So you have to stick to it.
Yeah, because if you do it but you don't stick to it, then there's no point. Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, definitely, like, the time management was a huge thing. And also, like, according to what you want to do in your career, you're going to have, like, prerequisites. So just make sure that you're really organized with whatever's, like, classes you need to take, so you don't, because you have so much in your plate. Your time is so precious that you don't want to waste it. So you want to make sure that you only take classes that you have to, and then just that, because it's going to shorten your time. And
How did you know that? Like, did you meet your counselor? Did you just research? Like, how did you know, like, okay, these are the classes I have to take?
I researched in Las Positas, first of all, like, what was, like, prerequisite for general ed. And then I started, like, making a list of, like, what I should do for each semester. And then I broke, like, in semesters, like, according to the prerequisites, which classes I was going to do. And then after, when I was more, like, submerged in school, I was like, okay, then I can actually book an appointment with the counselor. And then I took my stuff and I said, okay, this is what I've read so far. This is what I found out. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And then, so, yeah.
And counselors are great resources, because even right now when I started my master's, I was like, I don't know. And the first thing I did, I went with a counselor, and she was like, let's plan out your whole thing. She was like, how fast do you want to complete this? How much are you actually able to take each semester? And I was like, this is how much I can do. This is how much time I can actually put into school. We put a whole calendar together. She told me exactly what classes to take each semester, when my graduation commencement would be. If this doesn't go well, this is what. So counselors are a great resource. And I think, if you're lost, that's the first thing you could even do. Just meet with a counselor, plan it out, and then you can start doing the time management, because you'll know this is how many hours I need to focus on school this semester or this quarter or whatever.
I think it's such a powerful tool for anybody to use, because, and especially people that have, families and work and everything going on, is like, you can't waste time. And if you have someone that can advise you as to how to make,
and that's what they're there
most
for.
of your time.
That's what they're there for. So it's not like you're bothering them or it's like annoying or nothing. Like, that's what they're there for. And I know for my school, I did it over the phone the first time. Like, she was like, if you can't come in, call me. And I set up a time and we walked through it over the phone. We were both on the computer looking at the same page. Like, they work with you. So you're not lost and just thrown in there and not knowing what to do. So, yeah, counselors are great. I guess I would thank you so much for everything that you said. And I wanted,
pleasure.
Yeah, I think something that, like, one of the biggest advice that I heard that always stuck with me is that the time is always going to pass. So in 4 years, you're either going to have a degree or you're not going to have a degree. But those 4 years are still going to pass. And that's something that always stuck with me, because it's true. If you start now, in 4 years, you could even have a degree, or those 4 years are going to pass, and then you're going to say, I wish I would have started 4 years ago, because time doesn't stop because you're not doing something. So it's something that always stuck with me, and I'm like, that's so true. Like, either take advantage of their time or it's gone.
That's a powerful analysis. And What people usually like used to tell me is like, I feel like I only come to school and I don't have time for anything. And it's like, you have the power, and it's up to your decision to make your time the most. You either want to lay in the couch and watch any series or program that's going on, or you want to just, I don't know, like do whatever, like you want to implement your time in a different manner so you can do so many things, or you want to just waste your time here and there and then not accomplish as much.
And you will miss a lot, because I feel like even I miss sometimes, like you said, like a weekend, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I just cannot go out because I have to do this paper, or I have to study for this test. And sometimes it will make you feel guilty, like you're never around anymore. But at the end of the day, like when you're focusing on something that's going to make you better, then you should just put your focus, like your friends, they're still going to be there. Hopefully, you have a good support system, because I'm sure, I mean, I feel like I have a good support system, but in your case, like you need your daughters on board, you need your husband on board. Like, how did you make sure that you had the support that you needed?
Well, kids are gonna be kids, so
they can't be how you want them to be, but
yeah. And sometimes I'm gonna be honest, the husband's not gonna be happy because you're not gonna have time for them, or like they want to have like do something over the weekend, and you're like, oh no, I have this huge project coming up. But like I'm gonna say, like the support system varies. Like, okay, like sometimes my kids would say uplifting things, and then I'm like, oh my God, like thank you, I needed to hear that. Sometimes my husband would say, oh don't worry about dinner, like this week I got it covered, or like so many things that in a way is supportive of you going to school. I can say that my mother and my nana were like the two strongest like pillars that I would always sometimes cry and be like, Mom or Nana, I can't do this, like
so and just having like someone that is going to be your pillar that you can fall back on.
Yes, definitely, because you need to hear those words. You're not perfect, and
it's hard. It's very hard, and it's not going to be easy. No
it's a lot of pressure.
How you look at it, it's a hard thing to do. School is hard. It's time consuming. It's annoying at times. Sometimes you're like, why am I doing this? But you just have to. Like, if you're really gonna stick with it, you have to. And you're spending money, or you're using loans or whatever. Like, you're spending your money on this, so you might as well take it serious and really follow through with it, because then you're just
your money, your time, your energy. You're taking time away from people that you love, so it's an investment. So it's a huge investment that's going to pay off later.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to end this with, what is one piece of advice you would give your 17-year-old self?
Oh my God. I would say after graduating, go to school. Make your life easier.
Okay, so that's something you would have told your 17-year-old self, go to college right after?
Go to college right after, and just focus on bettering yourself. If I would have the maturity to actually know that at that time, then to just focus on academics and like learning so many things and bettering myself, so you won't have all these things to juggle with, because you're an adult, you have work, you have kids, you have a husband, the house, the chores. So,
and it's easier too, like if you go right after high school, sometimes you live with your parents, so you don't even have to worry about like getting home and cooking, or you have a support system, so take advantage of it if you do have that.
Yes, definitely. Is like your life is much simpler if you do it like in order and in that way.
Yeah. Okay. And then what piece of advice would you give your 25-year-old self? It could be life advice, love advice, career advice.
I would say a lot of the things you learn in school, but then also experiences, like travel. And if you can't travel like outside your country, then travel in your surroundings and learn about different people. Read a lot too. I feel like that opens your perspective, and it teaches you that this world is so big and there's so many things for you to learn, that you know so little, and that it's so interesting to see how everybody's so different in different parts of the world, but yet like so similar.
Yeah.
So
to travel and get out there. And I actually started traveling because of her.
Mm-hmm.
My first trip ever was because she was like, let's go to Europe. And I was like, I don't know if I could do it. It's a lot of money. I mean, I was set on no. And you were like, no, let's do this. And she convinced me. And then I got obsessed. And I became a traveler.
And then she's a world traveler.
Yeah, and it was because of you. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's amazing advice. So thank you. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, you can contact me. You can contact her. Thank you again. Please subscribe if you like this. Leave us some comments. Show us some love. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.